What's good, YouTube? Quasar here. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys a Paleozoic Frog deck profile for that new March 31st ban list. So let's just jump right into it. So if you've watched any other Paleozoic deck profile, mine's pretty standard too. I'm just going to go over the monster lineup pretty quickly because it's basically the same as like any other Paleozoic deck. So 3 Swap Frog, obviously you want to be opening this guy. He's like your main combo starter because once it's normal or special summon, you get to send one of your other level 2s from deck to grave. So essentially want to be sending that Ronin Toad in. You can also discard a water monster from your hand to special summon it. And also, while it's on the field, you can bounce back a monster in order to an additional normal summon of a frog monster, as long as that frog is not Swap Frog. And also, sorry, these are not ultimate rare. I went with the commons because my wallet just cannot handle the brutality that is Yu-Gi-Oh! But I do have the super dupes instead of the commons, so dupe's pretty sweet. I really like the 2000 booty is really sweet. The fact that your monster can only target it for an attack really does help when you do bring it out with Totally Awesome's effect. So that part I really like. And the fact that once it's sent to the graveyard, you get to search another frog. Really cool too. 2 Ronin Toadins. I mean, this guy you want to be sending to graveyard because you can banish another frog in order to special summon it from the graveyard. So he allows you to continually abuse like a rank 2 spam. So that's like your main frog engine. Obviously everyone plays the exact same thing. I don't really need to explain it, but yeah, those are the basic 8. Now, one thing you may not see a lot of is people main decking Gamma Seal, but I think this is just way too good because people are playing shit like Jinzo and Danko Sekka, and this deck auto loses to cards like that, so you want to be tributing the fuck over them with Gamma Seal. The fact that it's also an Aqua monster makes it so that it is compatible with things like Toad. If you do have it in your hand, you have Toad on field. If you want to negate something, you can always just pitch the Gamma Seal because it is an Aqua. And since it's a water too, if Toad is sent to grave, you can also just return it back to the hand. So Gamma Seal is a lovely addition to this deck. I think maining it was like one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. And then, of course, the 1 copy of Maxi. I mean, it sucks that it's at 1, but I think it's still good not to play. Also, the fact that it's level 2, if it's kind of just dead in your hand and your opponent's done special summoning, you can still normal summon it, and then all your other monsters are level 2, so you can still use it for like some rank 2 shenanigans. That's it for my monsters. I'm playing 11. Pretty standard, I guess. Spell lineup's pretty huge though. 3 copies of Demise. So I opted to play this over Pot of Desires because I don't really like the fact that I'm banishing the 10 in order to draw 2, where this you get to draw 3. And since most of the stuff you're playing is back row, you do get an additional plus off of it, and you just get to set your back row. This kind of just helps you set up for your future turns. So yeah, I think Demise was definitely the way to go for this deck. And that's it for my spell lineup. Moving on, 3 copies of the Karma Cut 1. Discard a card to target a card on the field to banish. 3 copies of the MST. I'm playing 2 copies of the Book of Moon. I know a lot of people do like 3. I should also say this is the 40 card version. I know the 60 card is really popular, but I feel that 40 is probably just a bit more consistent. I know it could be arguably slower, but I think that the 40 card version is still perfect for my kind of playstyle. So this is just the numbers that I've been rolling with, and the deck has been working out very well. 2 copies of just the Send a Trap to Grave, And then I'm playing one copy of one that returns one from Banished Zone back to grave. So that's a total of 11 different Paleozoics that I'm playing. And then for like your other standard trap lineup, 3 copies of Reckless Greed. This card's way too good. It gives you such a bonus. The fact that you get to draw 2. You do want to be activating multiples in the same turn, because if you can only activate 1 and then having to skip 2 draw phases kind of hurts. But if you can at least draw 4, then that puts you so far ahead of your opponent. And if you're able to activate all 3 in one turn, then that's the nut. 3 copies of Lost Wind. I actually like to use Morella to send this, just so as soon as your opponent does summon something from the extra deck, it's now live and you can set it face down. You can't activate it the turn it's set by that effect. And also, it does get banished, unfortunately, but it's still really good to have an opponent's attack and also negate its effect. So definitely have to play 3 copies of Lost Wind. 2 copies of Quaking Mirror Force. I went with Quaking just so you can flip things back face down rather than returning things to hand. So that way you can still get around a lot of the different threats without really having to worry about them being face up to attack or being face up to have their effects. So yeah, I think 2 Quaking is perfect. And now that this bad boy is back, I am main decking 1 copy of Imperial Order. Again, the only 3 spells I was playing was the Demise, so even if you have them in hand while this is face up, it doesn't really matter, because you're stopping your opponent's spell cards, and pretty much every other deck besides Paleo relies fairly heavily on their spell cards. Completely just obliterates things like pendulum decks. I know the Invoked is out there, and they just rely so heavily on their field spell, their fusion spell, so I love the fact that Imperial Order is out. It's such a strong addition to the Paleozoic deck. Next, I'm playing 2 copies of Dimension Barrier. This card's so good. I think 2 is actually the perfect number. I'm seeing it like just enough. 3 can be cloggy. Like even at 2, I have even opened both of them before. Kind of crazy the fact that you only activate 1 per turn, but it's still so good. You have to play it, obviously. And then for the final 4 cards, I play the Solemn Brigade. So yeah, 1 warning and 3 strikes, just because you want to be stopping all kinds of summons. Warning can even stop summons of Danko Seka and Jinzo too, so you gotta be main decking Warning just for that kind of shit, right? That's it for the main deck. Let's move on to the extra. So we got 3 copies of Toad. So glad this is still at 3. Like, you have to play this guy at 3. Dropping multiples of this guy usually seals games, because the fact that you can just tribute it or another Aqua to negate and then just steal that card, set it on your side of the field, is so game breaking. Also, the effect where during the standby phase you get to summon another frog. I really like to use that effect, maybe even summon something like Swap Frog, and then Swap Frog's effect can then go off in order to send, and you can just pull off a lot of really stupid combos like that. So yeah, 3 totally awesome is definitely mandatory in a deck like this. I'm playing 3 copies of the Opabina. So this is the guy with 2400 defense. You get to detach a material in order to add one of your Paleozoic traps from your deck to your hand. And then if this card has a trap card as Xyz material, you get to activate your Paleozoic traps from hand. So pretty busted. Also, it's unaffected by monster effects, so that's pretty awesome there too. And then I'm playing just one copy of, I don't even know its name, but this is a 3 material guy. He has 2400 attack. He's also unaffected by monster effects, so he's pretty good. You can just detach one Xyz material in order to pop a card on the field, so that's not too bad, but I think only one is necessary. Next, I play 2 copies of the Crumble logos. This guy's actually really good if your opponent has something like Royal Decree face up. So if you go into this guy, you can use its effect to target the Royal Decree and negate the effect of that Royal Decree. Also, your opponent won't be able to activate another Royal Decree as long as this card is face up on the field. So that's really busted. So just stuff like that. I mean, you can technically do that with cards like Jinzo, but of course Jinzo has 2400, so it could obviously just run over this. Same thing with Danko Seka though, but again, it has 2200 and you can just run over the Danko Seka. So I recommend using this against a card like Royal Decree, which again could shut down a deck like Paleozoics really easily. So I'm playing 2 copies of the Sky Cavalry. I really like this card because it works so well with your Gamma Seals. If you tribute over something, drop this guy, attack back into your Gamma Seal, you can detach 1 material and then bounce that monster you attacked back to the hand. So that's just its main effect. You attack into whatever, detach, and then you get to bounce that card back to hand. And of course, this guy can't be destroyed by battle while it has Xyz materials, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, I like it mostly just for the fact that it works so well with your Gamma Seal. Next, we have your OTK enablers. So basically, Digusto Phoenix is in here because if you detach a material, you can target itself. It gets to attack twice. And then if you have Cat Shark, you'd want to be targeting Digusto Phoenix to double its attack. So it'll be a 3k beater that gets to attack twice. So if you have this guy and Toad, that's over 8,000 damage, and you can just OTK really easily just by dropping a whole bunch of your Paleozoic traps and some of your frog monsters as well. You're able to drop so many different rank 2s in one turn. So yeah, that's just a really neat combo that I like there. So the Digusto Phoenix for like the 3,000 that can attack twice with, of course, Cat Shark. So that's why I play them. 1 copy of Downer just because you can rank it up over something. Like if your Opabina has like no more Xyz materials, for example, you can just slap her down, so at least it'll have like 2300 attack and you can still, you know, get over something with her. And then last but not least, I do play 1 copy of F-Zero. If you do have some of your other rank 2s that are just kind of dead without any Xyz material, you can just overlay them both into Utopic Future, attack into an opponent's monster to steal it. I really like just having that option there. So that's it for my Paleozoic Frog deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of the deck. Leave in the comment section below if you guys would have any changes or suggestions to the deck. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.